when you create an e-learning course, you have a lot of challenges, creating a learning environment which is interesting and engaging for the learner. And sometimes you see you have this one technology would best fit this problem, and then you have another learning technology would best fit another problem. So in combining them all together, you can get the best of every world and just choose which part of it you need.
Until the Corona crisis, we repeatedly decided against online solutions, as on the one hand, from our point of view, the risk of deception by the participants was too high. And on the other hand, questions of security and privacy were not sufficiently solved with regard to the GDPR.
I believe in the future, the main use case would be something similar to Alexa, but in learning industry. So everyone will be able to say to his phone or a laptop, like, Alexa, could you please find VTO research for 2020, for example, and receive this directly on the laptop without the necessity to type in this information in Google and review like 10 websites just to find the required report.
In a physical presence, yeah, so the students meet at our lecture rooms, yeah, and then they meet in groups, yeah, and then the supervisors go from group to group, yeah, they listen to the groups, they talk with the groups, yeah, and this element is missing in a digital course, yeah, and somehow if you have a physical presence, by nature you have a kind of a control of the students, yeah, you can give them advice, yeah, and this is missing, yeah, and if you're transferring this one to a Zoom meeting, that will not really work, yeah, because you can't interact with the students in a Zoom room, yeah, as you do in a physical presence.
We use artificial intelligence to make data sets manageable for the end user, so to speak. In particular, we use skills taxonomies. For example, the EU's ESCO framework, which is sort of the European Skills and Competencies model, is comprised of not less than 13,500 skills and 3,000 occupations in relation to each other, trying to compile a skill profile out of that information for the individual.
The best thing for us to do is to focus on pushing in blockchain through education, educating the students, educating the various individuals in governance. How can blockchain change various services? In Malta, that is exactly what we're trying to do now. So we're trying to have real-world use cases that impact the individuals. Now, the educational certificate is brilliant.
It's pretty normal that when technologies are early adopted, they are normally taken with diffidence, with a lot of criticism. And well, I think it's just a matter of the historicity of us being exposed to this kind of computer interactions in a number of social situations, rather than them being suitable or not suitable.
The problem is not that the teachers don't want to use games. I think most of the teachers are eager to use games. But I think they find a lot of practical problems, like where to find games, like we said before, how to run the games in the classroom without needing a whole technical team behind them.
If we don't train children in technology today, their prospects of finding jobs in the future may be impacted because a lot of those jobs need technology. But I think it is very, very important that in every discussion about technology in education, we don't just focus on the aspect of how will this improve, for example, student engagement, or how will this improve, access to education and so on. I think one of the critical themes that has not been dealt with enough, or at all in many cases, is quality of life.
The importance of digital self-sovereignty is, of course, it extends far beyond education, because we are right now not only rethinking the purpose of the university, so who is the university for and to what end, but we also are at a crossroads when it comes to digital privacy.
People learning while they work and using the accreditation of that learning to enhance their careers. So around this, we're looking at transparent and immutable accreditation, which is transportable across Europe. We're looking at if we can supply personalized recommendations to individuals, and can we have personal and professional progression.
In terms of basic digital literacies, yes, I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done and a lot of emphasis on that. And I think you're seeing that not only, say, for example, you know, the ILO's involved in its own Decent Jobs for Youth global initiative, and there's quite a lot of attention paid to digital skills development in Africa at the moment, a continental-wide initiative with the African Union and the African Development Bank and the ILO.
There is a tendency with digital learning that one tends to think quite quickly about this box idea, and we need to make sure that we're breaking open these boxes. And we break them open by firstly having the rights to do that, and that's why you need openly licensing, and then the capability, that's why you need the open tech.
That's part of the trick of being a school online teacher versus being perhaps a university online teacher. As a school teacher, you are still trying to teach them these skills. So you can't just give them the platform and then leave them to get on with it. You've got to structure it, frame it, guide them, and also give them some access to perhaps surveys that help them self-reflect.
If you go like one step further, then one of the big issues is that the innovators just don't have the possibility even to be included in the dialogue. So, and there is, of course, one thing that is mentioned in the vision document as well, is that we need to have a microservices-based architecture. So people, I mean, as small teams as I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 5 people teams would be also welcomed with their solutions.
What's important for us is to understand that still human being is in the center, and we are building with emerging technologies to support the human being and not to replace anything. And I think this is often misunderstood, that technologies are replacing us in some sort, but I personally have seen that it's not working.